Hey Cal, Emily here. Just wanted to circle back with you on the portfolio site that you'll be submitting for Big Vision. I just want to apologize ahead of time if this audio gets a little bit disrupted by the sound of dogs barking or playing. I'm recording this from home and I've got two pretty lively puppies on this Saturday. Anyway, so first things first, I like that you took creations off the top here and have your name kind of as the forefront or the focal point there. I can see that you've added a blog and we still have that about information. Here, looking at, as I'm scrolling over these, I know one of the things that we talked about was with the hover effect. Let me go back here. With the hover effect, I'm not sure why it's, there we go. So it says movie trailer, but again, I don't know what part you played in this. Yes, you created a movie trailer, but were you the director? Were you the videographer? Were you the editor? Were you the producer? Were you the set designer? And it might be something that I want to know ahead of time. Is there a way that, along with sort of the movie trailer here, you can just share a brief kind of overview of what you did, and in that way I can get more of an idea about like what I should be looking for in this as your part or your contribution, right? So if this is the title, maybe look for an area where you can add a short description. So I'm going to go ahead and select this one. We have the video here that we can go ahead and play. I'm not sure why. Okay, so as I'm scrolling down, we have that information. This is a teaser trailer for a final project in my senior year of high school. My role: director, editor, camera operator, and writer. You don't need that period there at the end. So there's something interesting going on down here, and it could be, so like you can see that, let's see if I can highlight this. Okay, there we go. Your navigation down here at the bottom, it looks as if the text is white on white, so it's really difficult to read. You want to go into your settings for your typography within the styles section of Squarespace to make that change to something darker, so that can be easily be seen there. So again, I apologize for the dogs if you can hear them in the background. But this information, just a little bit of it, particularly this information here, is what I'm hoping to see back here on the home page when I hover over these images, right? And so for the same thing for each of them. I do really like the layout. It's very clean. It puts this feature up here at the top. But interestingly, because this loads in a little bit slower, and let me see something here. I'm in full screen right now, but let's just say I exit full screen. If I just have this view, there's no indication to me that there's something else down here that I should scroll to see, right? So it pops up down there, and you might miss part of the audience because they don't know that they should scroll. If there's a way to potentially bring up this information kind of in kind of a column over here, or up just enough so that I can start to see that there's text, that might be beneficial there as well. Going to go next over to your blog. I see that you've added a few posts. I like the full sort of screen layout of this. I'm going to go ahead and select one. And here's, let's see, I've got social media options where I could share these things. A nice full screen image, and a really nice story that you've shared here. So all of this looks great. I love that you are using the blog as a means to contextualize these things about your past work, your history in media, where you've gained inspiration. I think you're going to find this to be really beneficial, especially if you're doing a lot of projects that don't necessarily have deliverables, tangible deliverables for your part in the creation, right? So like if you are a director, there's so much of that you did, there's so much of the experience that isn't necessarily always inherent in the final piece, but using your blog as a way that you can talk about your role and the opportunities and the challenges that you faced with that experience. On the About page, we talked about a few things. The first being like that this image is awesome, but it's big and forces all of this content way down here where I have to scroll. I'd like to see it, this kind of take the form of a 2-column layout where we've got this image over here on the side and pull this text up to the top. Creation types, we talked about that kind of being a strange header or like a category name, so maybe rethink that. Here, again, filmmaker is capitalized, but nothing else is. And yeah, I mean, all of this is great. I can connect with you in social media in these areas too. So, just a few more things for you to think about. I'm going to get a little bit nitpicky here, and that's just because well, it's my job, and this is the kind of stuff that I'm going to teach you next month, is that headings, subheadings, titles are great when they're center aligned, but body text or paragraph text or anything that's more descriptive or requiring more than just a quick scan, like concentration in reading, is better when you left align that text. And the reason for that is in English we read from left to right, and when our eyes wrap around to the next line, it's more taxing if this starting point is jagged and in a different place every time. If it's aligned like right down that left hand side, it gives a uniform place for our eyes to return to, and thus makes it an easier read for us. So, just another quick point of feedback. Again, happy to look at it if you send it back, make some changes. One thing with the blog, and I'm not going to go through this and read it specifically on this review, and if I see anything in particular that jumps out at me, I'll holler back at you on it, but make sure that you have that proofread by a number of people. Just because writing, you make yourself vulnerable to typos or just a misuse of a word that spell check doesn't catch, so definitely want to make sure that that stuff's on point. But overall, loving the evolution of this, and let me know how I can help.